Mm. I invite you, if you feel so inclined, to go ahead and close your eyes. And take a deep breath in. Breathing in through your nose, and I invite you to do something a little different this morning. Go ahead and exhale through your mouth, like breathing through a straw. And we're going to do that a few times this morning. So we breathe in slowly through our mouth, through our nose, and exhale through our mouth. Gently and slowly. Let's go ahead and do that one more time, breathing in deeply through our nose. And exhaling, breathing out as if we're breathing through a straw. And for good measure, let's do that one more time. Breathing in slowly, gently, and exhaling. In this very moment, I invite you to feel the chair beneath you, and if you're standing, to go ahead and wiggle your toes if you can, and feel the earth beneath you in this very moment. As you feel that support of Mother Earth, we invite that presence of God from the earth all the way up our legs and into our body, all the way up to the center of our chest. And let's go ahead and breathe in gently again and exhale. This time we're going to take another breath, and this time I invite you, when you take that breath in from all around you, your surroundings, you're going to go ahead and take that breath and feel that gentle space in your chest and allow it to expand into your heart. Pause for just a moment. I invite you again to take another deep breath in, and this time you're going to imagine all that air going to the crown of your head. You're going to feel that in your head, your neck, into your entire head right now. And go ahead and breathe that in and exhale. We invite you to take another breath in and feel that breath flowing through your entire body, your legs, your arms, your head, your chest, even your tummy, your hips, every part of your being. And in this very moment and in this very presence, we recognize God as all-knowing, all-powerful, and everywhere present. In the breath you just inhaled, in the breath you exhaled, in every fiber of your being. And in this awareness, we say thank you with open hearts and open minds, and our body open and receptive to the truth that we are connected to the divine. And each person that sits beside us, behind us, in front of us, is an expression of that divine presence. We remember this truth, and we take this idea and this awareness and this remembrance into a moment of silence. I invite you to become aware of your body in this very moment. Become aware that in that pause, we practice remembering the truth of who we are, divine beings. And each time that we pause in a moment of meditation or prayer, that practice becomes our purpose, the purpose to bring forth the continual expanding consciousness of the divine through us, as us, and by us. And we say, thank you, Spirit. Thank you. And so it is. Good morning. Actually, you're very lively this morning. A lot more than most 9 o'clock services. So I'm very grateful for that. This morning, my talk title is, What's the Practice? How many of us watch the news? I see some people hesitate and some people are like, forget it. I don't blame you. Or read the news, perhaps. Or maybe a friend shares something with you. Did they share something with you this week? Something you saw? And I invite you this morning to go ahead and think of that one thing that you heard or you saw and you had a visceral reaction. Have it in mind? Yes? Oh, I see a lot of heads shaking, so I wasn't the only one. All right, I invite you, what did you think of it when you heard it? You don't have to tell me, you don't have to say it out loud, but some of this is going to be interactive, just so you know. So what did you think of it at that moment? Did you have, like I said, a visceral reaction? Or maybe it was something that you were happy about. Doesn't matter what it is. Keep that in mind. I promise it's going to go somewhere. Next, how did it make you feel? And the important question is, where in your body did you feel it? Do you have it? Yeah, okay, this is the interaction part. Yes? Okay. Okay, good. The next part is, what did you do about it? Did you do something about it? Did you share it? Did you get angry about it? Did you go into prayer? Maybe. And some people did. I know I didn't. I'll be honest, I did not. I was rather frustrated, a little angry, and in some ways disappointed. And I want to invite you to consider that that is a valid feeling too. Whatever it was, whatever your experience was valid. Because we are having a human experience. See, in Unity, we talk about our divinity, we talk about our Christ consciousness, we talk about love, harmony, and peace. But in order for us to be whole and to have that wholeness, we have to fully embrace our humanity and what we are experiencing. Because guess what? We see what we don't want over here, right? Do we jump further into it, or do we go the other way and say, you know what, I'm going to get centered. I'm going to step back into my practice. How many of us have a spiritual practice every day, daily practice? And it's okay if you don't. That's okay. Because today I want to invite you into the idea that everything can become a practice. It doesn't have to be sitting. Years ago when I started, I didn't know what I was doing about meditation. I was going through a really tough time in my life. And I said, you know what, God, you're going to show your face and I'm going to sit here every day. No idea what I was doing. Didn't realize that what I was actually doing was called mindful meditation. No clue. Our co-founder, Myrtle Fillmore, had this to say. She said, never again be sad or give way to thoughts of what might have been. See, when we heard the news, in some ways, we had an expectation in the back of our mind of what we wanted to hear, or hoping to hear, perhaps. And we do that with anything. If we go to the doctor, what do we want to hear? Good news, right? Hopefully that we're in perfect health if we go for a regular checkup. But sometimes it's not. Never again be sad or give way to thoughts of what might have been. We're going to deal with the now. God is eternal, unchanging good, and you have access to all that God is and has. Now, over here is that human experience again. But guess what? We have access to what? Everything, eternal, unchanging good. See, all that has been destroyed, neglected, or lost through lack of understanding or foolishness or false pride or ambition can and will be brought forth in present good. How many of us are willing to step into the idea that there's a possibility of good? And if you don't raise your hand, it's okay. You can still think about it. That's fine. But here's what she says. Just as rapidly as you grow in consciousness. What does that mean? Grow in consciousness? It's a practice. Our human experience is inviting us into that practice of growing our consciousness. And she continues, for God is ever giving just what we expect. If we expect to hear bad news, what are we going to hear? Bad news. You already know this. I can go sit down, right? And this is written by Myrtle Fillmore, one of Unity's co-founder. But I wanted to share a story that illustrates how we can step out of that human conscious idea, that humanness, that was given in the scriptures a long time ago. And this is in 1 Kings 18, 41 through 45. And bear with me, this is from the New Standard Revised Version. And in Unity, when we interpret or see anything in the scriptures, whether you like the scriptures or not, you believe in the Bible or not, doesn't matter. There's a lesson to be learned in it. It invites us, as Unity invites us, to interpret it metaphysically. And what that means is we are all the parts, the people, places, and things in this story. Whatever it is. So any story that you heard in the news this week, we can interpret, see where are we in that story, whether collectively or individually. And the story goes, and I'll give you a little backstory, if those of you who don't know. So Elijah was a prophet of God, and at that time, there had been a drought. Serious drought, 3 years, no rain. Can you imagine that? No rain for 3 years? How would anything flourish? How would anything grow? How would we survive? And so he goes to the king, Ahab, and he said, go up, eat and drink, for there's the sound of rain. Now, what would your reaction be? I think you're crazy. But yet, it's a man of God, right? See, Elijah, from the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, the Revealing Word, was written by our other co-founder, Charles Fillmore. Elijah represents the I am in us, the Christ in us, that divine part of ourselves that knows the truth, that expects the good, right? And see, Ahab is that mind, that intellect within us that goes, ooh. Ever had that? Never? I see that sarcasm there. Yes, we have that. We have that fear and that worry. And it's okay. But he says to him, go up, eat and drink. I wonder why it means to eat and drink. See, to eat and drink means to go get spiritual food, substance. What did we do this morning? We meditated. We paused. We reconnected to that substance, that representation of the divine in the quiet for a little while. And he says, so Ahab went up to eat and to drink. Elijah went up to the top of Carmel. There he bowed himself down upon the earth. Now, Carmel represents that higher consciousness. Prescott's a little in the mountains for me. And I could feel the difference in elevation. And it was a little bit different because my body had to adjust from being in the valley and coming here and the breath. But guess what? It was so much cleaner, so much clearer. And I enjoyed that. And that's what that represents. He went to that higher consciousness. Now the earth is a physical body. But here's what he says, bowed himself down upon the earth. Now if the earth represents the physical body, basically it's saying, come back into your body. Because in your body, we habit what? That same divine consciousness, right? The intellect of worry, fear, whatever it is, sadness, whatever crazy thoughts we might be having, or peaceful thoughts too. That higher consciousness. And so Elijah, he said to his servant, "Go up now, look towards the sea." He went up and looked and said, "There's nothing." Remember, 3 years. It's over 3 years at this point. He says there's nothing. Are you going to believe it if you see nothing but dry desert? When I first came to Arizona, that's all I saw. I didn't come through Prescott. I came up through Tucson, and I was like, man, is there anything growing here? So, of course, the servant said, "There's nothing." Then he said, "Go again 7 times. Why did he send him 7 times? Because spiritually, 7 times mean however long it takes. Repeat with me. However long it takes. However long it takes for us to sit with that higher consciousness to bring it forth into expression. That's why he says, go again 7 times, however long it's going to take for you to see the truth. Remember, he's up in Carmel and he's knowing the possibility of rain. At the 7th time, he said, look, a little cloud no bigger than a person's hand is rising out of the sea. See, a little cloud. I don't know about you, but when I parked this morning and I looked at the harvest that's being prepared, that's going to be after service, and being greeted by each of you that I met this morning, that was my cloud. That's a representation of a cloud. Grant you, there are many clouds in my life. I had people texting me this morning, "You've never spoken at Prescott. Hope it goes great." Do you have that here? A unity of Prescott. I saw it. There's a little cloud. There's a little cloud, and that cloud represents the possibility. Even if it's a small cloud, to smile and say, wow, I got to see my friend at service today. I got to be in a community where we each volunteer and come together to do more, to be more, to practice the divine. Do you see that? Okay? Yes? No? It's okay if you say no. It's still early. It's okay. I'm usually not awake till 10 o'clock in the morning, so that's fine. In a little while, the heavens grew black with clouds and wind. There was a heavy rain. A heavy rain. Do you think there's a possibility of a heavy rain? A rain of harmony? I can see some people imagine it on their faces. Maybe. I see a half smile. That means maybe there's a possibility. See, I think this scripture shows us a path to what is possible because of our own divinity. Remember that news that you thought about this morning? Do you remember it? Yes, no? Or are we still asleep? Okay, we remember it just a little bit. And you had that reaction, and I asked you what the thought was that you thought about it. And some of you, I can see a little sadness in your face, right? Heavy hearts. I know I experienced a little bit of that. But in this scripture, it talks about our thoughts. And Myrtle Fillmore had this to say as well. Instead of thinking of the people whom you have believed to be evil, or the situation, or the news, you can insert that right there, and an undesirable influence, think of the goodness of God in the life of all creation. Think of God as everywhere present, light, love, peace, power, and life. Think of all men, women, and children as abiding in God's presence and expressing God's qualities. As you do this, you will touch the reality of individuals and you will invite only the best from them. Now I invite you to think of somebody that you may disagree with, or something you may disagree with. Can you see the possibility of inviting the good? Hard sometimes, isn't it? It is. But see, here's the thing. We're made in the image and likeness of the creative source. We all are. No one is separate from God. No matter the situation, no matter the behavior, no matter the feeling, no matter the actions, I invite you to consider that. If we say in unity, folks, we say, oh, God is everywhere present, how can we step into the sense of separation and lack? There has to be at least one good thing you can find. Even if it's their smile, when they do smile. Even if you're like, I completely disagree with you. Guess what? They just invited me back to God. In their actions, it comes back to me and it says, oh, wait, what is in me that is causing this? What judgment am I having about their experience, their behavior, their thought? And it invites me to look at the best in them, even in their chaos and confusion of the news and what's going on and the shutdowns. I work with Silent Unity, and we get a lot of calls about that. We were getting calls way before it even happened. People worried about that, scared about that. But even in that, they recognize, wait, I can pause and have prayer. I can have a different thought, and that's what prayer invites us to do. The next part in that scripture is the feeling. See, Elijah said, oh, there's going to be rain. Go eat and drink. Basically, he was saying, don't worry. Now we're taking it literally, right? Don't worry. Go eat and drink. It's going to be fine. It's the feeling. We can step out of the feeling of whatever it is. See, I invite you right now in this moment to think of someone or something that you love. Just close your eyes for a moment. Think of that person or that thing. Maybe it's your pet, maybe it's your grandchild, maybe it's your child. Maybe it's a friend. And the question I ask you is, where do you feel that? Where in your body do you feel that? I don't know about you, but I feel it in my entire body. See, when we have an elevated emotion, as Joe Dispenza, who wrote the book Supernatural, and also one of my favorite, which is, and my favorite meditation as well, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, he talks about elevated emotion. And I think the easiest way to know what that is to feel, if you feel it through your entire body. See, the thing about anger is we feel it about up here. We clench our teeth, some of us, tighten shoulders, right? But we don't feel it through our entire body. When you're in meditation this morning, did you feel that peace? Did you feel your entire body? That's when you know that you're on the right track and in line with the divine. See, Maya Rowland in her book, Dare to Believe, she was the head of Silent Unity for over 50 years. She has this to say: the way to heal the nations is to start in our own consciousness. And I think when she said nations, I don't think she just meant the world. I think she meant our community, our homes, or literally our own nation here in the U.S. But I think she means everything. She talks about it starts with our own consciousness. Let us get in touch with the great spiritual reservoir of love and harmony within us. See, when you experienced that thought, you started thinking about that person or thing that you loved. You felt it in your entire body, right? That's harmonizing power of love. That's love and harmony. Then let our harmonious radiance brighten. Because guess what? It's in our whole being. We're going to walk around with it everywhere. Right? She says, then let our harmonious radiance brighten our own homes. Let it radiate to our government and then to the whole world. Peace begins in the center of our own harmonious consciousness, our own loving consciousness. See, Elijah prayed for rain. He already knew the rain was coming. He was already in harmony with it, so much so that he knew the rain was coming. He already felt it through his entire being. I could see him just sitting there going, I feel the entire rain all on my body and the joy and the expression of it engulfing me. See, that is that expression of feeling. See, and the last part is action. And most of you don't know me. Years ago, I wanted to do a triathlon. You see a lady running, biking, and someone swimming there. And of course, it goes in swim, bike, run. And years ago, I wanted to do one. I didn't know that I wanted to do one, actually. I just did my first vision board. This was when I was in my mid-20s. And I'm sitting there going, I just want to exercise, right? I just want to get a little healthier. And I just slapped these 3 pictures on there, had no idea. And actually, the funny thing about it was that they were all in order. It was a swim, bike, and a run. Grant you, I didn't learn how to ride a bike till I was an adult, which I'm a little embarrassed to say. And I've been swimming since I was little, and I hate running. But I wanted to do something I've never done before. And see, what I didn't realize was in the training and the persistent getting up early, which I don't like to do. If I do it, I'm in a unity community on a Sunday morning. That I will gladly get up for. But I remember continuing the practice. And in that practice, I found my purpose. My purpose was to expand who I was. My purpose was to get stronger, to do something I've never done. And I came across a lady that was doing the race with me, and this was in the last portion of the run, and of course I'm walking most of it. And she looked at me and she's like, "Oh, I'm glad you're doing this." And we struck up a conversation. And at the time, she had just had a triple bypass surgery. She was in her 60s. She said, "Oh, it was my 65th birthday a few weeks ago." And I said, "This is what I'm going to do." And I was like, "Huh?" And she said, "It made me feel better. I expanded who I thought." She's like, "I was never an athlete. I would never run. I would never swim. I would never do anything unless I had to do it." In physical ed in school, she's like, "That's the only time I ever did any of that." And I looked at her and I was like, "You're my inspiration." Because can you imagine just going through all that rehab, all that surgery, the weeks in the hospital, and there she goes, "Wait a minute, taking action." See, Unity's last principle, and I believe Joe Dispenza, for those of you who are familiar with his work, he talks about intention and emotion equals transformation. See, we have an intention, and I think Unity talks about this in prayer. See, when we go into prayer, we have a clear intention. And he says, you mix that with an emotion, but what emotion are we mixing it with? Right? He says an elevated emotion. And he talks about several of those, and we already talked about love and harmony. And equals transformation. And I think that transformation is what causes us to go into action, or the action causes the transformation. See, when I was doing that training, and that lady, she was doing her training, she transformed into a stronger, healthier, more vibrant person. And so did I. See, that's the 3-part. See, in the scripture, Elijah sent him out how many times? Somebody said 6. Or there, I'm just messing with you. 7. 6 plus 1, 7. However long it took. And that was the transformation for him to realize that, oh, I see a cloud. Now, see represents one of 2 things. It can represent where we're seeing. Are we seeing the outer in the human consciousness? Are we looking at the situation? That lady could have looked at her surgery and go, "Oh, that's horrible. I'm going to die." Or, I believe, what she actually did was step into her higher self, her Christ consciousness. And she didn't say it that way, and I didn't understand it that way at the time. I believe she stepped into that higher seeing the possibility of what could be. She could be healthier. She could be happier than she's ever been. She could accomplish something she's never done before. So my question to you this morning is, what do you do? What is yours to do? Remember that news that we talked about this at the beginning? What is yours to do? And I'm not just talking about a physical action, I'm talking about the practice. The first one is take a breath. Disrupt that pattern. And it doesn't matter, even if it's joy, go ahead and take a breath too. Be back here and now. Remember, Elijah he bowed down to the earth. He came back into his body. That's the take a breath. I believe prayer, all our thoughts are prayers. We talk about affirmations in unity and we use them a lot. I know I do. I know a lot of people do. And I heard some of them this morning. But see, even our thought invites us to have a better feeling thought. So pay attention to that thought. Now that we shut off that feeling and that crazy thought that we might have, or that reaction we might have had from whatever it was this week, we can pause, take a breath with me, and pick a new thought. What's the good that could come out of this? And meditate. I think meditation is something that we can do in every moment. I invite you right now to feel the chair beneath you. Do you feel it? You just meditated. You just have a feeling of what's going on around you. And did you enjoy the support that chair gave you? I know I enjoy the support of the earth right now. The ground that I'm standing on. Good thing I'm not falling through, right? So I feel gratitude for it. I can give thanks, and gratitude is one of those elevated emotions. In unity prayer, one of the steps is gratitude. And there's a reason for that, because it is an elevated emotion. And last but not least, live the practice. And you don't have to do all these three. You can do one of them or none of them. That's up to you. See, the beauty about unity is we all have a choice. But living the practice. See, I believe that our last two of the 5 basic principles are very important. It talks about prayer and meditation, right? That's how we reconnect to the divine, but we can do that step by step, day by day, in every low moment. And then last but not least, we talk about action. I see the physical action in this community. I see it. I see the joy that you each express in greeting each other, in the activities you have, the willingness to serve. So I know you're already in line with the divine. This is just a little reminder. See, human beings are created in the image and likeness of God. That includes you. Please, that includes you. Appreciate that as well. Therefore, our very essence is divine, and we are all inherently good, even if we see something that doesn't appear good just yet. Just yet. I remember years ago, I was about 13 and my mom passed away. She had a car accident, died 6 months later. And trust me, I did not know anything good out of that. But here I am. Here I am with you this morning, enjoying your company, enjoying this community, the harmony, the love, the joy, and the knowingness that we're all taking a step forward, doing what is ours to do. So, it's the practice that makes purpose, not perfection. Your definition of perfection might be different from mine. But it makes purpose in the practice, in the continual breath that we take just to pause. We find the purpose to remember who we are and to continually express that. And I have homework for you. No? You love homework? Some people are like, are you kidding me? I didn't come here to do any more work. I do a lot. See, if you're willing to practice making the purpose, continually practicing these principles, I invite you to say this affirmation with me this morning. I practice seeing the divine in all things. Take a breath, and we're going to say it again together. I practice seeing the divine in all things. All things. God bless you.